So Donald Trump is not a fan of the Iran deal. In fact, he has said multiple times that he would love to scrap the Iran deal, get rid of it, and possibly renegotiate it. Oh, well, that's wonderful. Now, there are new details out in a report that shows how exactly the Trump camp is attempting to undermine the deal. Because, look, the deal is actually fairly popular, especially among the world leaders. A lot of the countries say, don't scrap the Iran deal. Do not walk away from the deal because it's working. It's working. It's actually doing what it's supposed to do. Now, this new report out in the UK alleges that Donald Trump's camp had attempted to, or had actually hired Israeli spies in an effort to delegitimize the deal as a method for them to be able to pull out. Now, first reported by the UK's Observer, the report alleges that these Israeli spies were hired to dig up dirt on two officials in the Obama administration who helped negotiate the deal. Now, the idea, said an unnamed source familiar with the campaign, was that people acting for Trump would discredit those who were pivotal in selling the deal, making it easier for the United States and President Trump to justify pulling out of that deal. As I said before, this is one of Donald Trump's campaign promises. He says, this Iran deal, terrible, dangerous. They're gonna have nuclear weapons. No, the whole point of the deal is to make sure that they don't have nuclear weapons. But look, Trump couldn't point out to one terrible thing about the deal without making shit up. And that's what he does. For example, one of the most often cited things is, we gave Iran millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. But you know what? That's actually not true. Yes, Iran did receive money, and we did give them money. You know whose money it was? It was their money. It was money that we owed them. Back before the Iranian Revolution, Iran wanted to buy U.S. weapons, right, and equipment. So they gave us the money, and then the Iranian Revolution happened, and we're like, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to hold on to this money. It's pretty much our money now. So they didn't get the arms and stuff, and we held on to their money. So as a term of as part of the terms of the deal, we gave Iran that money back, and we helped unfreeze some of their assets, as well as pull back on some of our sanctions that were crippling the Iranian people. So, but of course, as I said before, that's a lie that the right loves to perpetuate. And loves to say, hey, look, that's why we don't support the Iranian deal. We just gave them all that money. Not true. Not true. Now, without facts to back them up, because we can easily debunk their narrative, well, here comes a little bit of help from Israel, especially Israeli leader Benjamin Netanyahu. Now, of course, he's been talking about Iran for quite some time. More bombshell reports. Oh, they're getting close to a nuke. They're getting close to a nuke. We better bomb Iran. We better scrap the deal so that we can start bombing Iran. But look, his reports, which are hilarious because a little graphics that he uses, he uses an actual bomb shape to be like, look, they're real close. They're almost up to the wick. We better bomb Iran. Well, all that has just been nothing more than essentially hyperbole, right? But that hyperbole gets used, or is trying to get used, as a pretext for war. And so I'm not at all interested, right? In fact, if we suspect that Iran is hiding nuclear weapons, which is definitely a possibility, and look, I'm not naive, okay? Yes, they could have a secret nuclear program. They could have hidden their stockpile. But you know what? We have tools inside the deal that allow us as an international community to go in if we have any suspicion and look for these nuclear capabilities. We can use the tools of the deal to make sure that they're honoring the deal. And if the United States unilaterally walks out, then we lose the ability to do that. because the rest of the world is not going to follow us. So we're no longer, sorry to say, but we are no longer leaders in the world. And maybe that is for the best. But of course, working with the other countries and ensuring that the deal actually works is not where the right-wing government of Israel or our right-wing government wants to go. And John Bolton, for example, he wants to go to war with Iran. He's always wanted to go to war with Iran. And we have so many neocons in our government and so many neocons in the Israeli government that want to start a war with the Iranian regime. That's not a good idea. That would be disastrous. Now, there's a little bit more on this report. Okay. The individuals targeted in the so-called Dirty Ops campaign were Ben Rhodes, who served as Deputy National Security Advisor for Strategic Communications for President Obama, and Colin Kahl, Deputy Assistant to Obama and National Security Advisor to former Vice President Joe Biden. So, look, these are Obama guys, okay? Now, one thing that we know about Donald Trump is that anything President Obama has done, Trump wants to undo and then do it over, right? Oh, can you believe that? Obama making this deal with Iran, rip it up, and then maybe I'll make my own deal. I mean, that's what he was saying. Oh, maybe I'll renegotiate the deal. Well, first of all, if you rip up the deal, look, that's going to be disastrous for gas prices, which of course impact regular Americans. So that's one of the immediate impacts. The other immediate impact is we could be facing a war with Iran, a unilateral war with Iran. That's not good. That's not the way that we want to go. And of course, that would force them to try to renuclearize as fast as possible so they could defend themselves against American aggression. Now, they continue. The contact with the Israeli private intelligence agency allegedly took place last May, just after Trump's visit to Israel, which would make sense, the second stop of his first trip abroad as president. The line of attack was to get information on personal relationship, any involvement with Iran-friendly lobbyists, and if they had benefited personally or politically from this peace deal. Well, look, if we're talking about anybody benefiting from the peace deal, that would mean everybody. We all benefit from a peace deal with Iran. You know why? Because we don't want to go to war with Iran, and we don't want Iran to have nuclear weapons. So, yes, we all benefit. So if that's a pretext, then I guess we're all guilty of that, right? Now, the agency was also tasked with contacting prominent Iranian Americans, as well as pro-deal journalists from the New York Times, MSNBC, The Atlantic, Vox, and Haaretz, the Israeli newspaper, among others, who had frequent contact with Rhodes and Kahl in an attempt to establish whether they had violated any protocols by sharing sensitive intelligence. So they had these Israeli spies basically spying, well, they're spies after all, on journalists. Well, that has some serious ethical considerations, right? So obviously, I value a free press. Hiring foreign spies to spy in on our officials and whether or not they've had contact with various news outlets sounds like a serious violation of the First Amendment. So, man, this is a damning report. But what's worse is that they may have actually even targeted these people's families. In a Twitter thread, Kahl suggested it was possible that the Dirty Ops campaign had also targeted his wife and referred to suspicious emails she had received in late May and early June of 2017. So, look, again, dirty swamp-level politics, all in an effort, of course, to try to pull out of a deal for political consideration. And that's what this is all about. This was one of Donald Trump's campaign promises. This isn't based on facts. This isn't based on, any information that we have that's credible about Iran possessing nuclear weapons and therefore being in violation of the deal. This is nothing more than of course, just a political ploy in order to say that, look at me, I've done something. I ripped up the Iran deal just like I said I was going to do. Pay people, come out and vote for me when I run for president in 2020. That's all this is. And so they're literally putting the Middle East on the brink of war for political points. Man, that's gross. And look, it just shows you how desperate the neocons in both the United States and Israel are willing to go in order to launch a new disastrous war with Iran. And you know who's going to be alongside right with them? The defense industry and, unfortunately, mainstream media. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.